Yeah.
Are you really ready? Are you back and focused?
Do you think that you're capable of doing this? Yeah.
It doesn't sound like it. You right now.
Welcome back to the No Big Banana Podcast. My name is Justin.
You sound about as discombobulated as the Goblin Slayer movie.
It fucking sucked.
Shut up. I'm embarrassed.
Oh my god, it was the funniest article I've ever read in my entire life.
I watched a couple of compilation videos on YouTube. I've got it all figured out.
You're listening to the No Big Banana Podcast.
Welcome back to the No Big Banana Podcast. My name is Charles.
My name is Justin.
And Justin's joining me as a guest because, as we already discussed,
okay,
Justin's going to be here when he's here.
I am.
And that's all we can say about that.
Man, okay, I was fucking moving last week.
Where'd you move?
Up the street from you.
Texas?
Now?
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be easier for you.
I left my house like 5 minutes before I got here. Yeah. It was awesome. I live about a mile away from you.
All things that just benefit you.
You can get fucked.
Nothing in that story. Oh, ReZero's been really good. Let's dive right into anime.
I want to get back to how fucking pretentious you've been.
Dude, look, when I'm alone, I can be as pretentious as I want to be. I have no feedback.
Yeah, well, I also I'm not going to give you feedback on it because I'm not just going to sit and listen to you talk for 22 minutes. I get that enough. So
yeah,
ReZero is pretty great.
Yeah. Well, I have to be honest. I like Rem more than Rem. And I know why you like Rem.
Why?
But honestly, I don't need it.
Why do you think I like Rem?
I don't need that story. Because she's been painted as this underdog. At least that's what I've seen thus far.
She's just sweet.
We're supposed to feel bad for her because she's the one with the demon powers. Hey, any of you fucks want to feel bad for Ram?
Listen,
who doesn't even have
Ram's
powers
a bitch.
now?
Let's talk about Bia because she's better.
Oh, well, yeah. For sure. Anything that she does is just the best.
I suppose.
That shit is amazing.
No, I just if I'm looking at objective waifus in the show, she cooks, cleans, she kicks ass, she's sweet. What else do you want?
I guess. I don't know. There's this whole Eeyore thing going on where I'm just I don't need it.
Whatever, man. You can just
go
agree with all the other guys.
I'll just hang out with Ram.
That's fine.
Also,
they're both great. I think that's one of the things that I like most about ReZero is that all of the characters are great.
Yeah, they're all pretty good.
And in the newest season, the last episode, it's one of the only shows where an entire episode can be about just Subaru with his family, and I'm just I'm here for this. His parents are the best.
I guess.
Have you haven't finished season 1 yet, have you?
No.
Oh, okay.
I have no idea. I'm 11.
I think you'll like Beetlejuice.
I'm 11 or 12 episodes.
Beetlejuice.
Dude, don't say that like that. He's gonna fucking appear.
Yeah.
Michael Keaton is gonna be in my living room, just acting a fool. I don't need that mess.
Is he still alive?
Yes. He fucking won. Oh well, damn. I guess that was 6 years ago now.
Oh,
man, the chunks of time really start
slipping by.
Yeah, real fast. But Goblin Slayer.
Yeah, the movie was
talk about
pretty
the movie.
Shit. Yeah.
Here's the thing. Here's the first.
It was okay. It was the most 5 out of 10 I've ever seen in my life.
What letter would you give it? Because I've already decided in my head. Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Maybe I was a little generous. I gave it a B minus.
I gave it
a B minus because Goblin Slayer, the character, carries a lot of weight.
He does. I think part of it for me was there was enough fucking up goblins left and right, just cutting the head, the top of their heads off, and just beating the shit out of them.
There was definitely some really cool animation.
There were moments, and I also as somebody who hasn't seen Goblin Slayer in a little while, I know it was the first 30 minutes of the movie was just a recap from the priestess perspective, but it was nice to kind of go back and relive that moment.
Yeah, and also I will say that the budget that they upped the animation on some of those
100%, yeah,
dude. That one shit where they went 360 around.
Oh yeah, that was pretty lit.
That was pretty dope.
Cool. I will say, I had seen the thing pop up, a new Goblin Slayer Goblin's Crown, and then I saw that it was Priestess Log or whatever, and I was like, fuck this. So it's been a week that I've known it exists, but didn't realize that it was actually another story entirely, and that they were just doing that for the start of it.
And if you watched only 20 minutes and then stopped, you would think the same thing.
Yeah.
Because it's a tricky thing with anime, and it's kind of an issue that we run into on the channel where it's
everything's got to be about the channel.
Well, yeah, for me, that's the other half of my brain.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I just mean in creating in general, like when you give something to people, they have to have like, it's good for them to have some sort of a frame of reference coming in. And for us, it's beneficial because it's D&D. So like just having the foundation of like, oh, it's D&D.
It's the D&D edition. You know what to expect.
Right.
You kind of like have a repository of information, right? Yeah, I see what you're getting at. Like there is a frustration when you go to binge watch anime, especially like, like Black Clover, for example.
Oh, dude, I talked about it for fucking 10 minutes the other day. Like,
yeah, about as long as I'll take in the intros on every episode. But like, it's difficult because like I understand where they're coming from and why they have to do that, especially when it's coming out on a weekly basis. Like even like Dragon Ball Z, like last time on Dragon Ball Z, like every show that like I would say it's more of an American thing to not have that at the beginning of a show. Like I don't think Breaking Bad ever had like a last time on Breaking Bad, but like when you're doing something, you're just clicking around, having fun on your computer, just not paying attention.
Yeah, I'm listening.
Sure you are. Whatever. What do you want to talk about, though?
Continue.
No, I'm good. What do you want to talk about?
No, keep going, please. I'm sorry. I was trying to set up the timer with the outro song, but I'm not going to be able to because there's something going on. So we're just going to have to kind of wing this and just decide when it ends.
Gotcha. No, I just think that like, it's kind of a hard thing to shaft them on for having that like at the beginning of the episodes because like when you're watching it weekly and you have a bunch of other shows that you're watching, it is kind of nice to have a little bit of like, oh yeah, that's right, that's what Yami was doing in the last episode of Black Clover.
Kind of, but
Black Clover is an extreme example though.
Well, you can also do it briefly. I feel like
exactly.
There's a way there's a way to do it briefly, and like for me,
I feel like Fire Force does that very well.
I understand when
Zero
you're watching
just doesn't give a fuck. They're just like, if you're not paying attention, you're not paying attention.
I respect that,
dude. The last episode, the very last episode that I watched was a full 29 minutes, and I think 1 minute of it was the outro music. That's it.
Yeah,
so
I know,
it's 28
dude.
minutes of content.
They
It's
don't
great.
give a fuck. It's amazing. What's funny too is I've gotten into the habit of like, depending on what anime I'm watching, like if I'm watching it on my phone or even
a casual watching it on your phone.
Yeah,
Ew.
I usually do.
Fucking casual.
Okay, whatever, dude. Anyways, what I'm getting
You've got a laptop.
What I'm
Just
saying
watch it on
is,
your fucking laptop.
What I'm saying
No, I want to talk
is-
about how you watch anime on your phone, you filthy.
I mean, I guess I can make it worse to tell you that I have a TV that's that size that's hooked up to this upstairs. So my second monitor is like a television like that.
Yeah, what are you doing?
And I do, because here, this is why, fuckface.
Okay.
Because
Wow, I had a nerve.
well, no, just I don't know why that came to mind because it was funny in my head. The thing about it is that I have to pay attention if I'm watching because I watch subs.
Yeah.
So
I rescind my filthy casual comment.
if I have
because you
my
watch
shit
subs.
on, there's no fucking way that I'm gonna just sit at my computer and not do anything but watch.
Oh,
That's
really?
not gonna happen. My brain can't. If this is in front of me, I'm gonna be fucking doing 100 things.
I'm gonna be on 4chan.
Yeah, dude.
rating someone's
I have
cock.
like 25 fucking tabs open, like all of my Adobe programs open. Like,
Oh,
that's
G
just,
for a threat.
that's just how I work.
Yeah.
So anyway, when I'm watching anime on my phone, and I'll watch it however I want.
Casual.
If I'm watching Black Clover, I know that when the episode starts, I can put my phone down and go do some shit. Because it's not going to start for 4 minutes.
Yeah.
And to get around this long ass way of getting around to this anecdote is that I put it down when I was watching ReZero. I put it down when I was watching ReZero and I stepped away, and then after a second I realized like, oh fuck, no, this is ReZero. They don't fuck around.
They don't
So I
play.
jumped back and started over.
It is
Because
great.
It's like I respect that. Like there's an element to that.
They've got too much story to tell, and they don't have enough time to tell it in. It feels like so. It's like they're kind of like, we need every second we can get.
Meanwhile,
the
Goblin Slayer movie, 25 minutes of rehash, and then like the
payoff
story
wasn't even that great.
even all that cool.
Like they could have
It felt weird. It felt like they were. It felt. You know what? It felt
like an OVA.
It felt like they got the fucking go ahead to make it, and then they were like, "Oh, we need a script."
Right. Well, and that's the thing. Like,
It's like-
the problem I had with it personally, and I think the part of the reason why I gave it like a C rating or a 5 out of 10, 6. I'll give it a 6 out of 10. Is that like they really felt like they shit the bed on it. Like Goblin Paladin and a Dwarven Fortress sounds fucking rad.
Yes, it does.
And I'm about that. And then they show up, and it's like, spoiler alert, he like gets the sword from him and his shield, and he's like, "Oh, you're dumb," and then cuts his throat, and that's it.
The
and then there's like an
execution-
avalanche. And
The
I'm like, what
execution
the
of
fuck,
it was
man?
very weird. Also, like, if you're gonna have him one-on-one somebody, make it more than just like
It also, like,
looped animations.
Here's the
of,
other
like,
thing about it. Here's the other thing that pissed me off about it is like it looked like they just put like a goblin in Goblin Slayer's armor. It just
Yes.
felt like it just there wasn't like when he was fighting like the Goblin King, there was like some intimidation there. There was like a presence there. Like there was
Right.
intent behind it. So when like I heard about Goblin Paladin and then I look over and I'm like, is that just a dude in some armor? Is that like, is that a goblin? Like what the fuck's going on? Because it had no like features definitive of anything besides just like an adventurer.
Also, how about we don't build up the scary idea that the goblins are learning and evolving, and then let the Achilles heel of said goblin paladin be just being a blundering idiot.
Yeah.
And just being like, I knew you'd fall for it, dumbo. And it was
Yeah.
like, okay, but why spend the whole movie
it was a
talking
little
about
badass when he was like, goblins aren't smart, they're not dumb, but you, sir,
Yeah.
are fucking stupid.
Yeah, that was
like
cool.
that was banging, and I did like even earlier in the thing when he does that shit with like the hair and like
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
pulls the hobgoblin's throat out and like punches his eye out and drops it on the ground. Is like, who's next, bitch? And it's just like the red eye coming through the darkness. It's
Yeah.
like that was better than the entire like ending scene.
Yeah.
like.
And that already happened.
Like, and then like, you have like the whole like, oh, okay, they're learning like he had like that thing that broke like the tip of the arrow that broke off in the goblin.
Yes.
And I was like, cool, there's gonna be something dope about this.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh no, they're just trying, but they don't understand.
Right.
And it's like, well, why do we even care then?
Right. Also, why make it scary with the ranger being wounded
Yeah.
to potential death and then be like, oh, they can't figure it out? It's
That
like,
it was
what?
pretty funny when he was like, bite down on this. And then
Well,
it just kept
yeah.
getting closer and closer and closer to her face. Like that was good. But
Here's my issue. Like, because I would assume that like
God, I just turned the fucking. I'm sorry.
budgets are like,
I'm sorry.
are you a Muppet?
No, I don't know. I just felt bad.
I would
that I'm
imagine
popular.
that like if you do a successful series,
Yeah.
like I would imagine it goes kind of in the sense of like mostly, and I mean I'm sure that there's like stuff that's just organically anime, but I'm assuming
Oh, yeah.
if you have a successful manga, we'll fund you a season of a show, and then see how the
absolutely.
first season goes. And if the first season goes well, or if the first season goes really well, then maybe between now and a second season you can do like an OVA movie.
I feel like that's not as common, even something like Fire Force or but I guess they weren't as popular.
Yeah, but
like,
look though, Demon Slayer's doing it. My Hero did a couple
oh, dude,
movies.
fuck
like
that, whatever. I don't want to talk about their movies.
yeah, that's annoying too. It's difficult, right, with anime in particular, because you get like really, I find a almost religious attachment to the characters.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then when they deviate from that so far. But I mean, if you're like a huge Star Wars canon head and you read some fucking fanfic, that's the equivalent. It's
Yeah.
just the problem is that it's made by the same studio, so it's hard to separate
Kind of. It, like a lot of times I feel as though like the real issue here is there are like deadlines and expectations for how quickly, like you have no idea how pissed off I was when I saw at the end of the Mugen Train trailer that it was like coming 2021. I was like, oh fuck you. Why?
Yeah.
What have I got to wait like 5 more months for this shit?
Yeah.
For some reason, for some ungodly reason, I don't know why, but the guy that writes One Piece just thrives in that environment of
Yeah.
like, oh, I'll just punch it out in like a day.
I'm
It's no big deal.
I'm kind of that way.
And like most people that like, especially I think his name is like Tight Kubo or something. I'm just gonna call him Kubo because I think that's his name. And you can tell. I think I sent you some screenshots of like early manga adaptation of like the early manga in Bleach towards like the final
Yes.
pages in Bleach. And you can tell that there is no love left
Right.
for the story. It's the same with like Akira Toriyama. That's why like Dragon Ball GT and even Super to an extent are just like shells of
Yeah.
what the original was. Like in Bleach, it was like cool premise, cool characters, awesome fight scenes, awesome like individual like little storylines going along, cool shit. And then the arc finishes and then the next arc starts because you have to get that, you got to pump that shit out.
Yeah. I would rather things be delayed.
Yeah, but that's not where the money's at. It's the same. It's the
I
same thing with like
understand.
it was the same with like Attack on Titan, or actually One Punch Man is the better example of it. If you watch One Punch Man season 1, there is so much love in every single frame that's put
You've
into it.
shown me this too.
And then in the second season,
Yeah.
it's slideshows.
And here's
but
the
they
thing,
had
like,
to get something out because
I'm
otherwise
not
people would
even-
lose interest.
I'm not even that huge into the animation, and I noticed the big difference in that. And I'm starting to notice, like, when you watch enough anime, you really are able to tell like what the flow or the movement in a scene is.
Oh, yeah.
More than you would just casually seeing it. Like if you watch a fuckload of anime,
Yeah.
you start to recognize. And
There's
when
a particular word for it, but there's like obviously this isn't the correct translation, but I think of it as the animators busted their nut on one sequence.
yes.
And it's like all of a sudden the animation quality like dials up to like 11 for a minute.
Yeah.
Even like during Licht and the Wizard King.
Yes.
Or like perfect example, Asta fighting Vadros.
Yeah.
All of a sudden the animation cranked up to like 13 and you were like, what the fuck happened?
Yeah.
As a result, you get a lot of like still frames with just moving mouths, like flapping mouth
Right.
syndrome.
So and the thing like with Goblin Slayer, and it made me think of it because I know you've seen it because you watched it before I did.
Yeah.
The 5th episode of the Misfit of Demon King Academy. That fucking fight scene between him and the guy. When I see that, and then you show me Goblin Slayer versus the Goblin Paladin.
Yeah.
Hey man, this is like a serial 20 minutes once a week episode anime that's running currently.
Yeah.
That
Great.
scene was what that should
Sexy
have been.
as fuck.
I mean, if this is supposed to be like your
He's
OVA
like, I
project,
didn't think you were
that's-
actually going to break my stick in half. Next time I'll try a little bit harder. And it's like, oh, fuck you.
Fuck, dude. And then I love that the guy's like, so I love that he's like, so do you accept me as the Demon Lord? And he's like, maybe.
Yeah, my favorite was when he was like coming up and he was like, hey, do you mind if I be a part of your team? And he was like, pass.
Yeah, fuck off. Like,
So
dude,
good. And then
Honest Voldegod, dude, when he walks into the fucking tower,
yeah, all the girls just like sploosh.
pass out.
Yeah.
Holy shit, dude.
So funny, and he's just standing there like, that's right.
Also, you got to check out Monster Girl Doctor because
I know.
you'll enjoy it.
You
and
need to
it'll
watch
be another
Dr.
thing that we can
Stone,
talk
bro.
about. I know, I do.
There's so many.
That's one on my list that I want to do. And then Black Clover is going crazy. Oh, but you know what? It's fine because we could talk about anime on Thursday too.
Yeah,
because
man.
this week's all about anime.
But
20 minutes into the episode, and you know now what to expect.
This is the week where Justin and Charles only talk about anime, and you can suck it.
Yeah, that's good. That's
Yeah.
good marketing.
Yeah, there you
Let
go.
everybody know they suck.
No, that you can suck it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Even better.
Yeah.
Next week, we're having Jay, who plays Lance, on the Man Shorts
Yeah.
channel, and he's going to talk about Wicked Packs, and we'll probably spend both of those episodes talking about D&D. So this week, we're spending both episodes talking about anime,
Fuck yeah.
which is super fun, and that's totally fine, right?
Yeah,
People
I'm cool
like
with it.
anime. I like anime, and God of High School, and Fire Force.
Yeah.
I feel like
really
I
nice.
keep getting teased about him
Yo, okay, that whole like
fighting this guy.
suck on the flames of hell, you fucking piece of shit. And then
That
just, like,
animation
dropped
was
it.
so
Oh my
fucking cool,
God.
dude. When he like turns into a monster and like fucking
Yeah, that whole, dude, I
Thompson.
had to like rewind that like 3
that
times.
shit was so fire.
It was the same with, like,
and then Goblin Slayer.
Yeah, it's such a disappointment.
You know, it wouldn't be, and I said at the beginning of the episode, and I mean it. Goblin Slayer, the character carries a lot of weight, which
yeah.
is why I think it was such a letdown.
It was.
Because it's like,
I was expecting like what I would have expected. I had the same expectations going into it that I will have for the Demon Slayer movie. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it's like I went in with like, I'm expecting a 10 and you gave me a 5.
yeah. So that makes it a 4.
Come on, man.
Yeah, it's true. It's annoying.
C minus. Now that I've been
because
thinking about it, C minus.
it was just frustrating, and it felt like he was making it up as he went along. Which,
You mean like the writers or?
yes,
Yeah,
I mean the
absolutely.
writers and Goblin Slayer.
Yeah.
just the entire plot seemed very pieced together. It was like, did
Even,
you guys
like, the whole-
write
even,
this
like-
in sections?
Even the whole like girl that gets branded and shit. It's like, first of all, Goblin Slayer, if he had met a girl that had been like raped and branded, he would have killed her.
Oh,
because
yeah.
there's no coming back from that.
Correct.
We've established that earlier.
Yes.
And then he's just like, all right, you can come with me.
Yeah.
It's like, fucking, you didn't even do anything. All you did was like fucking sound the alarm in the first place.
And then
he's just like,
also,
oh,
it's like-
should have thought about that, huh?
And then also he's like,
Fucking-
I've got a plan. And it's like, well, I'll trust you, Goblin Slayer, because you're a badass. And then the plan is an avalanche, which is like, doesn't even seem like a plan so much as like a convenient wrap up for the writers to be like, wait a minute, this is on a mountain,
washes all the way the goblins,
Like,
and then all
wait.
the goblins just wash away.
We just use the snow.
I will say though, I really, and I forgot about how much I love this, but the way that the dwarven mage like tries to like summons gnomes and shit, like the way that he summons gnomes as part of his magic.
Little gnomes do your shit or whatever, and then he fucked some people.
Oh, dude!
up.
In the middle of that cavern, when it's just like they're jumping around like bullets, I was like, "Fuck!" Dude.
That shit was.
And he's just
gangster.
like, "Yeah, we're good over here."
Also,
like,
I'm annoyed
dude.
that I didn't see more from the dragon, from the lizard priest.
I know,
because
he
he's my
loves
favorite.
cheese.
Yeah, he's my favorite.
I forgot that he loved cheese, and then at the very end when he's like, "Ah, yes, the syrup of the gods."
Yeah,
I was like, God.
Then there was a
damn it.
moment of like.
And then why did they show the big titty farm girl at the end? She was, she had no
I don't
business
remember.
being there. She was just like, oh yeah, I don't really like sharing it that much, but it's New Year, so I'll share. And it's like, where were you this entire time?
That's very weird.
They just showed up in the guild's town hall or whatever when they were all like cheering for the New Year, and it's like, what the fuck, man? And then like, oh my god,
We're gonna pretend that the symbols are starting. This is where
sure.
the symbols are starting. The symbols of freedom. That's
Oh.
what I decided to call them.
you
But
mean the
it's,
outro is the symbols of freedom?
yeah, but it's CYMBALS.
Symbolis.
No, symbols.
Symbolis.
But it's the drum symbols, not symbols like
Oh, you mean like an icon?
no.
What are you fucking talking about? Yeah, instead of like a symbol, like an image.
Yeah, those are the symbols.
Cool. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram,
follow Facebook,
Fuck
Instagram,
that
Twitter
bell.
at NoBigBanana.
You know what to do.
And then send us an email
Smash
at
that bell.
NoBigBanana@gmail.com.
Fuck that bell like you'd fuck that big titty farm girl in Goblin Slayer.
Oh my god. We'll talk more anime.
If you prefer Rem, like this episode. If you prefer Ram, like this episode.
Oh, smart.
Right? It's good for the YouTube algorithm, bro.